Listen very carefully because it's a two-part take, but it's synergistic. So take number one is the Imperial male team is 2 or 3 times better than Imperial Valkyries. Here's why, and so the secondary take, I'll build that in now before I explain, is anyone out there who's not just a fan, fans can have any opinion they want, they're just their fans, they're just fucking watching fireworks, woo, oh dear, like, I don't expect them to know the physics of fireworks, how air works, fucking gunpowder, they don't need to know that, but people who are actually talents, even if you're my friends and you're on my shows, shame on you if you ever actually weren't joking and tweeted or said on a broadcast that Imperial Valkyries is better than Imperial male team. You are an actual joke to me. You either have no eye test or you are a piece of shit. Here's why. So here's a few facts about Imperial men's team. You might remember last year, they were at a fucking major. That's right, they were at the major. Now, if you don't know, the one roster move they made was they kicked out Phelps, who actually was having a pretty hard time, and they brought in like a new player that's actually been having some pop-off games, right? Because of this thing where you can only have one team anyway, so even if they'd be in the rankings, the joke is they'd probably pick the Valkyries one for the political angle anyway. If you don't know, online, this month, they beat both Pain and MIBR, by the way, right? Before you go, that's online. First of all, you are aware the Imperial female, when they were called that, versus Na'Vi game was online. We're just going to all pretend that doesn't exist. Apparently, that's the only game in history where people don't fucking, sit in a chair and have Coca-Cola or whatever. Like, that's the only game that counts like a LAN match all of a sudden. Fucking hell, what's this? Are we counting Zimu MVPs again, boys? That's a straight fire reference. So, okay, back there. So I'm just, by the way, shots to Zimu.
I know, that's every time.
Listen.
Check that off your bingo card.
Yeah, listen, get the bingo card ready. So then, the other point is, so by the way, already those 3 things I've just said there, beat MIBR online, beat Pain online, went to a mid, right, already they just cleared Valkyries by about 1,000,000%, because spoiler, Valkyries have never won a map online against anyone who wasn't female. Also, just throw this out there, do you know what the actual best map that Valkyries ever had in their entire time together online against men was? It was the one where they had a man in the lineup. Now, you might go, oh my God, has he just said that? Yeah, I've just said a fact. I didn't give an opinion, I said a fact. If you can't handle swallowing that fact, maybe stay the fuck out of the whatever, wherever you would be in that scenario, straight fire joke as well. Also incredible. Did it all in your head, not out loud. That's why you can't cancel me, mate. Uncancelable at this point in time. I'm going to keep saying that until I'm just cancelled, like fully Kanye, the fuck out the scene. But it's all good. It's all good. I haven't got any t-shirts to sell. Don't worry about it. Well, actually, I will do so from Last Free Nation or whatever, but they'll just be ones that say Last Free Nation. Obviously, you don't complete the rest of the joke. Then the last thing I'll say is this. If you just look at the roster of Imperial Male, this is why it's not even a fucking hate take towards Imperial Valkyries. You are aware that Imperial Men's team has fucking Try on it. Right, if you're going to tell me that guy sucks or that Anna is better than him with the AWP, I don't even know if we can have a conversation. I don't even know if you're speaking English or if I've got my brain broken and I can't understand what you're saying, because I don't know what even concepts we're talking about. What is AWPing to you? What is being good? Does all the games I saw Try play against really good players, do they not count anymore? Is that not a real thing? I thought I saw the Anna girl go to the LAN, take 0 fucking opening duels, get 0 fucking opening kills, and then basically just bait with the AWP and just get fragged to fuck all over the map. And by the way, that's not even some sort of a hate take, because what is Thorin's number 1 rule of fucking AWPing is that when you go to tier 1, the biggest differential gap is between the AWPers. There is... Bro, even it's why I was so confident on the ultimate take of listen, mate, I'm not going to give it that he's a top 5 AWPer yet. I've got to see him do this in arenas when people actually study him, and then people have also played against him. It's the hardest role to make work in the game. So look, this isn't even a take about the Valkyries. It's more just this whack shit that the Imperial men's team are the butt of the joke. Because here's what I don't get: the same people doing this, right, aren't just doing it to hype up Valkyries. They're doing this whole thing simultaneously of well, don't ever be harsh to Valkyries, though. Don't be mean to them. We've got to give them a chance. And then you're just going to take people like Try and Vinny and fucking the men's team of Imperial and just chuck them in the bin for a joke. Why? What's the gag? That would be funny if you only meant it as a joke, but some of you mean it for real. Some of you actually do mean for real that you think that the Valkyries team is better on land than the fucking Imperial team. And the last thing I'll say is this. Nail in the coffin, end of discussion, was that Complexity series. Because, bro, Complexity is fucking garbage. They are actual hot trash. I don't even blame them, by the way. They're going all NA. If you don't know, they can't even get another import. Because remember, Leisure was NA. They'd have to basically kick Hallzerk and JT, probably their 2 best pieces, roll for roll. So they're actually in a really tough spot. They haven't got loads of money either. So the problem is, they're not a good team, though. The joke is, if you don't know, they'd also never won a map on LAN. Just what happened was, eventually, someone had to win one, didn't they? So they got to play Valkyries and they got to win 2-0. By the way, they comfortably won. It was actually fucking insane. So this isn't even some sort of like an anti-Valkyries thing. It's a fucking pro-Imperial men's take. Can we please put some respect on people who are actually like decent at the game? They also have a play called Decent, so that's straight fire or whatever. Come on then.
All right.
Who wants to just jump in the fucking minefield with me and start walking over claymores?
I'll do it. Fuck it.
I don't know why I asked that, Maui. I forgot I was in the room with, to be fair.
I'll do it.
He's like, I'm already out here, Thorin, way further out than you. I was like, oh shit, my bad. My bad. Okay.
You can't one up.
First of all, I'll just say my opinion like this first. If Imperial female team play the men's Imperial team 100 maps in the next 30 days, 3 maps a day, they would win 0 maps.
They might fluke one. Come on, they could maybe fluke one.
No. They will win 0 maps.
Okay. He's made my man hotter, even though I know I thought I'd already made it pretty scorching. I know, fucking hell. Okay.
Hotter
They would win 0 maps. Simply because, like, the quality difference is just, a fact again. Like, there is no... It's not about being delusional, like you sit on a desk and say this and that, right? Maybe they had a good map against Furia in Kato. Ever since then, I haven't seen anything. The only teams they have beaten on LAN are the female teams, and that's why the champions of the whole whatever Impact thing.
Yeah.
One LAN they got comfortably demolished by every other team, including Complexity 13-5, 13-2. Like, if it was like, maybe when it comes, like, when the score is like 13-7, 13-6, 13-8, people think it's close. It's not close.
Sure.
That's not close at all. So if they play 100 maps, 0 wins. If they play best of 5 against top 50 teams in HLTV ranking, 0 maps. Every day. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, up until the 50. 0 maps. Like, the reference with Serena Williams and, remember that one?
Yeah.
When the guy said she's not like, top 200, like, she cannot beat it. And then, why did you say that? Like, blah, blah, blah. And then the top 200 guy came in and just won, like, 6-0, 6-0. Like, the thing is, like, and even Serena Williams said, like, listen, it's just a quality difference. They hit harder. They're
That's
like
true.
sharper,
By the way,
they're
she actually
faster.
does, even to this
She
day on
actually
talk shows,
said
say
it,
that
like,
all the men
she
are better.
is
It's
not
true.
delusional.
No, it's true. Yeah.
Like, she is the best female tennis player of all time.
Yep.
No question asked. But when it comes to competing against men in athletic sport like that, it's just a quality difference. And like the bone structure, but that's like another topic,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Like, but the thing is, like, it's similar to this, not all the way the same, but similar. And we see it. Like, we're not stupid. Like, we see it. Like, we don't want to downplay Imperial team. They're now getting getting wrecked because Valkyries or like Imperial female team qualified over what? Over winning 3 female cups, right? 2 Impact Leagues and 1 whatever tournament. So maybe you know this, Maui, maybe I don't know it correctly. Like, is Impact going to be considered in VRS?
It was previously. I don't know if it is now.
Yeah.
So it was previously, but from now on, like...
I mean, I assume it is, Kassan, because as far as I know, it just works off, like, if you have enough prize money, then the wins count.
Yeah, you
so,
get up in the rankings and whatever.
So then when you come first at it, you get, like, whatever, 80% of, like, a massive prize pool.
This question, which nobody seems to be asking.
Okay.
Like, if female team of Valkyries or whoever, like, wins the tournament, qualifies for the men events, does that mean that the men team can join Impact League?
Obviously not. I like the way you asked that naively. Well, because they're not women, so...
But what do you mean? Like, I don't get it.
Well, in the same way as if I have an NA-only cop, you can't join if you're fucking Australians because you're not from NA,
Yeah, but that's not the same, though. That's not even close to being the same.
There's region locked and gender locked.
They also say that
that's all part of
in VRS, they actually do say that, like, you're allowed to region or gender lock tournaments. So actually, Valve allowed this, by the way.
Okay.
It actually turns out it wasn't
If they
oversight
allow
even.
this, then it's fine, because I didn't know. That's why I asked.
No, I had to look it
carefully.
up myself. Yeah,
I
had to
asked
look it up myself,
carefully,
mate.
right?
Yeah.
I asked carefully because I didn't know. But the thing is, it's just... Is it fair? I don't know. It's a different topic. We can discuss that. Should they be playing the men's tournament? Should that be expelled from rule book or whatever the fuck is it? I don't know. We can talk about it. Probably yes. But right now, can they compete against men teams? Not even close. Not even in a 1,000 maps.
By the way, I'll even give a quick reason, Kassad, because everyone's going to think that's like you're being mean. Here's a reason why it's totally logical they can't compete. And by the way, they are like, if you don't know, like they're like the Astralis of the female scene. Like, I don't think they've lost a lamb for 2 years or something, Kassad, with all the different orgs they were in. It's like the same core, etc. Here's what people don't realise. Think about the argument that's always made now as to why we need to let the women's teams in. Because what they say is not enough women play, so it's unfair to judge them against the men as a result, because they don't have essentially enough people coming in the funnel that at the end, when you get the best team, it's good enough to compete, right? Well, the problem is that argument itself makes it logical that this team wouldn't be then good enough, unfortunately. That's just that. What you're basically saying is there's not enough talents yet to like produce the best.
I'm not being mean to the female team. That's what I mean. Just whatever. Like if they come in, if they use the rules and qualify and win, God bless, right?
Yeah, it's not their fault. It's like I said on Twitter. It's actually the VRS fault, mate. It's not their fault.
It's the VRS fault. It's not their fault at all. I know Zaz for a long period of years. She's like a good friend to me. I wouldn't like disrespect that team in any way. But the reality is different. The facts are different, right? We need to talk about that. Like, are they able to compete in any meaningful way right now? I don't think so. Right? It's not the time yet. Maybe if they have like 6-7 events like this, 10 events, full year and a half, maybe they will get into some sort of a position. Right now, even like when I was there, like when I was in the competitive thing, and maybe this is like too much to say, but the teams, tier 1 teams, tier 2 teams would avoid practicing against the female teams.
Right.
They would actively avoid that. And that's no secret. Nobody's going to say publicly, we don't want to play against female teams. But in reality, they would play anybody else.
This is, unfortunately, here's what's sad, Kassad. I know the point you're making, but to people who are on the political tip, mate, you made the opposite point. Like, the point you're making is it's a waste of time to practice. The problem is they're going to think, well, that's why they're not good enough, because you wouldn't practice them. But, like, that's just, again, that's politics, mate.
It's just a politics thing, right? Like I said, if they had, like, more... For example, they take map against Furia, where they had
that might get you a chance, right? Yeah.
If they had more experience, I said it on the desk, if they had played 5 events like this before, in a studio environment where they actually see stuff, against men teams, right? Not the female teams.
Oh, yeah. More
obviously more. Yeah. They would win that map. They would 100% win.
Yeah, it was winnable. Yeah, absolutely was.
Probably would lose the match at the end, but would win that map. Overall, like I said, right now, it's just the quality is too big of a gap.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just say, like, matter-of-factly looking at the Imperial female demos, especially prepping for the Blast Bounty event, it's just, I don't know, if people, like, if you just watch closely enough, their time to kill is just slower. Like, it's just, their mechanics are just worse. Like, they take longer to get kills. Like, sure, like, we've seen, Cats clutch with the Deagle against Wonderful. We've seen a couple nice instant first bullet shots from people like Zaz and stuff, and like I just think, like, when I watch it, it's just the mechanic. Like, I actually think their strategies are actually fine. Like, I actually think their tactics are all right. Like, I think that they could use Anna a bit more aggressively as an opper. I feel like it's kind of weird that they kind of save her for mid-late rounds a little bit. Like, you should obviously be going for more picks with the op, because it's a one-shot kill, like, pressure the other teams. But in terms of their own T sides, I think they're fine. But, player quality. It's just kind of like you're picking from a pool. And I don't really have, like, I'm not trying to even make a political statement on this. It's just you're picking from a pool of players where there are just simply less. And in that pool of players that there are simply less, they probably have more difficulties getting good practice for the reasons we're aware of.
Yeah.
Also, they're just not a highly ranked team. So, like, why would I, if I'm a ranked 5 team in the world, use an hour of my practice time to play against you guys when I'm not probably even practicing against the 40th ranked team in the world? It doesn't really even make sense. So these are all just, like, facts of it all. And, like, I've played a women's team before in like qualifiers and practice and stuff like that. I've actually lost to one before, and obviously that was like when I was playing like main or something, like in one of my first seasons or something like that. So it wasn't like a serious, but it was like, okay, like it's not like you're always gonna win or whatever, but like, so that's why I would go against the like 100-0 maps that Kassad.
That was hyperbolic, of course.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
Because to me, the Furia one shows surely you'd eventually win a map or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I think.
Because like, it'd be like that. Surely you'd win with 2 pistols one time, and then someone would win a 1v1. CS is CS at the end of the day. You can win a map.
I mean, they push some of the top teams on like a map. They'll like get, make it kind of scary, like tied 7-7 going into whatever. And if you get like one clutch there, it can change things. Either way, it's not really the point of this. The main point of this is that I think that the Valve rule set is coming from a place where it was worth experimenting with it to just see what would happen if they get a boost, because I mean, they already do an affirmative action sort of move by just having regions.
Yeah, they do.
Regions.
It's true.
By
the way, you're right, Maui. That's actually philosophically completely in line with what Valve does with like the Asia Minor, for example. Like
that's what I mean.
What Valve's doing there, Maui, is they're not like us, by the way. They don't watch all of CS. They're just thinking, well, if there's the whole female circuit and it has all this prize money, maybe that team is good enough. Give them a chance. It's just that obviously to me that's like a naive take, but I get why that is what Valve has done the whole time. To be fair, they have given spots out to everyone. Yeah.
Personally, I'm okay with that. Like, I mean, because or else we wouldn't have many America's teams that are qualifying for these things, and we wouldn't have many Asian teams that are qualifying for these things. And because we had so many slots for America's teams and Asia teams, it's keeping a Brazilian scene or South American scene running that is actually showing that it has a lot of talent. Like teams like Pain and MIBR are pushing. It's not even they're just pushing. They're beating the best teams in the world, and it's because they've been given these opportunities from being from this region. So I think that there's reason to give certain spaces here an opportunity, but I just feel like for right now, for when it comes to regions, it's good. Like, I'm curious what Atox has been doing in Asia, because now they're going to be performing in a couple events. Like, I want to see, like, people like Bled tells me maybe Lin Vision is better than them, but like either way, I'll find out. I'll find out, do these teams deserve to be there or not? And the thing is that Valve adjusts their slots at these events for how many Asia teams qualify based off of how well they actually do. And it's cool that the Mongols have gotten this opportunity and basically carved out a spot where they're just guaranteed a spot at the major, because they've earned it. They've earned that to me. No, I mean, beyond that, I don't really know if there's anything else to go on with that, but like, this was an interesting experiment. I will have very little a strong opinion in either way if Valve in the next VRS says, the gender locked events are no longer going to be ranked by Valve. Like, if they take that away though tomorrow, personally, I think I've seen enough of what Imperial Female are able to do, and so that this was a good opportunity, and it's something that we haven't seen for like 4 or 5 years for a tier 1 event to include a women's team. And so, I think we've learned a lot in the last
I'll give you one last little detail. I said it on Twitter, so I'll formalize it here. This is how you could actually fix this whole problem if you're Valve and you want it to be the equivalent of having smaller regions and see if they develop. What you do is what I said. Forget this VRS thing where you qualify through that. In the same way as in the ESL Pro League, they used to have a qualifier for Spain, so always there had to be a Spanish team there, and they had certain other qualifiers like that. Make one slot in Tier 1 for female tournaments, and then it's not just like Imperial gets it, it's like whoever wins the last female event or whatever, because one, that actually gives you more of a reason to be competitive at the female event, by the way. That way, maybe if the Fury female team beats them, they get to come to the event. And then secondly, I'm being serious when I say this, notice how I framed it all about what I don't like is the media bullshit of like pretending they're awesome when they're not doing well, and then when they fail, going, well, how could they be awesome? They've got all these problems. It's like, well, which is it? Then the whiplash is crazy. So here's what I'll even say. I'll offer an olive branch to the female scene. If you get given a dedicated slot, like the Spanish slot in Pro League, and it's just called the best female team in the rankings is invited to this event, then I won't make fun of you. Like, look, some people will, but in that scenario, then it's fine. You're just the best of the female teams. Let's see how you do. My problem is that in the current system, there really are certain people, for political reasons, just have never gone to the GitHub and clicked it and seen that all the wins that qualified you were against the female teams. They actually think, there are actually people, I'm not even trolling, by the way, bro, in other esports who don't know anything about CS, who hopped on me on Twitter, who think this is just like they for real are like top 30 in the world rankings of CS, and I'm hating just because they're women. It's like, no, they are top 30 because we let them count a closed circuit that none of the men playing. So if you just make a dedicated slot, then it's the same as at the major. Like, I make fun of FlyQuest, not because they're the worst team, by the way. I make fun of them because they sort of talk shit to people. If you notice, you don't ever see me banging on Lin Vision if they go to a major, mate. I just go, but what do you expect? Like, they're not Mongols. There's only one good team in that region. So again, that's the olive branch I'll say. If you just make a dedicated female slot, by the way, I don't even mind that. It is.
I don't even mind that either. That's what I'm going to say on the desk in Kato. The thing is like, but there was always like fucked up, whatever. But the thing is like, if you want to give them after the Impact League like a slot to an event, even it can be a Cologne for fuck's sake. Give them the.
Remember, it's only the plane, bro. Half the teams in the plane, none of us care about. You know what I mean?
Who cares, man? Like, and if you win there, then yeah, great. But And then the more female teams will like fight for that spot.
I
right?
agree.
They will be like more competitive. That Furia team, that whatever, some Asian team, I can't remember the name. But the thing is, like, it would be more competitive even in their scene. Like, even in their community, more teams, maybe orcs would, fight even more to get some of the teams. Maybe more money will be, I don't know. But, like, giving them a wild card, direct invite, something like that would definitely be better than this. Because this is just garbage. All right, Maui.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.